Shafar, you call him Shafar.
My Hebrew name is Judith by Israel. God is just daughter of Israel. And my American name is Venice Victor.
We have a ministry called Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Okay, we go out every weekend. We prophesy week in and week out, in season and out of season. The location is the freeway across the road from Diggity, the old Diggity. We be out. We come out every Saturday, 11:30 to sundown, and we come out. And what we do is, on behalf of our people, we try to get them where they need to be. We try to edify them and show them, like, basically because all people don't know where they fit in. They don't even know where they don't even know, like, the beginning point to the end. So we try to bridge the gap to try to edify our people where they fit in. When I say all people, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. When I say all people, I mean blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When I say all people, because we blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have suffered the most. Matter of fact, we consider the minority, but we really are the majority. So what I'm going to be doing on today, basically I'm going to be using the King James Holy Bible, because it is a history book. The Bible is not a religious book at all. It's a history book. But it pertains to one classification of people, our nation. And this Bible right here pertains to the nation of Israel. Well, a lot of people don't know who are the Israelites today. Okay? All right, I'm going to start with you. It's all right if I start. I'll ask you a question. I'm going to go around the room. If it's all right if I ask y'all a question. Okay, what's your nationality? You said what now? What's your nationality? Everyone has a nationality. So I'm going to give you two by asking you, what's your nationality? 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 What's your nationality?
American of African descent.
What's your nationality? What's your nationality?
I'm an American.
What's your nationality?
I'm American.
What's your nationality? Okay, neither one of those statements are true. Because America is a country. It's not a nation. America is a country. Your nationality don't define a country. Because if I told you, would that make me Chinese if I was born in China? So your nationality doesn't define a country. See, we are based a country upon our nationality. So we would say basically we African Americans, or we'll say Afro American. Afro is a half style. Or some of us may say black, or some of us may say even Christian. Well, that's a religion. Christianity is a religion. It has nothing to do with nationality. Black is a color. It has nothing to do with nationality. If you said that you was African American, that's two continents. That's not a nation. So what is your nationality? I'm asking about, I said nationality. I never said continent, country. I never said that. See, so that's a problem with our people. See, in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you come from. You got to know where you fit in. Because if you don't, you're going to be going around in circles. You're going to be in a lost state of mind. So that's what we come out to do, to edify our people and let them see according to the scriptures. We don't let you see according to the scriptures what's your nationality, because everybody has a nationality. All right? Everybody has a nationality. According to the Bible, these are the true nationalities of the 18 nations of people in the earth. Okay, you have number one, that's the nation of Israel. Okay, number one consists of 12 tribes. The Bible speaks of the Israelites from Genesis to Revelation. This is an Israelite book. Well, you're going to come to find out that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites. But we've been told that we black. We've been told that we African or American. A lot of you said America. America, that's a country. That's not a nation. Okay? So actually, America comes from an Italian navigator by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. Okay? He was an Italian navigator by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. Basically, he got the credit for this continent, this land. So they named this land after Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian, which would be a European man. So if you say that you was American, basically what you're saying is you were descendant of Amerigo Vespucci, because they call this continent America from Amerigo Vespucci, which was an Italian. So you're not that. If you want to say you're African, they named Africa after a white man by the name of Leo Scipio's Africanus. He was a Roman general. During the Second Punic Wars, he conquered the dark nations down in Africa and renamed that land to Africa, after his name, Africanus. So you're not American or you're not African or you're not African American. See what I'm saying? Like, so it's 18 nations of people in the earth. And according to the Bible, if the Bible is a true book, you should be able to go into the Bible and define your nationality. Because if all people come from this book, you should be able to go in this book to see where you fit in. Okay? Now, I want you to give me, I'm going to come out and read the scripture to you. I want you to give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Because we're going to help y'all get where y'all need to be. You know, Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. It is the King James.
Okay, all of you,
no different.
before she's going forward, all of y'all believe in God, right? Okay, all y'all God believers, right? Y'all believe in the Son of Christ, right? Okay, because everybody got different type of religions or whatever. We just trying to be on one call. Everybody believe in God and Jesus, right? Okay, read Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Read that.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
Okay.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So you see it's talking about a nation, because he's talking to a certain nation of people. In Deuteronomy 28 chapter, it speaks of blessings and curses. Now we already know Deuteronomy is the second book of the law. The first 5 books of the Bible was written by Moses. Okay, a lot of people need to understand that because they like to go in black history in America. See, when they go in black history in America, one guy got offended, one white guy got offended because they say Black History Month is February, right? They say Black History Month is February. But I got a problem with that because they never said it was a White History Month. See what I'm saying? So why should we have a Black History Month? It's not a White History Month. And actually, February is the shortest month of the year, and that's when they decided to give the so-called Black History Month the shortest month of the year. So if it's Black History Month, where's White History Month? And it's not being sarcastic and funny, it's true. So what they fail to tell you in America, and the government that paid off too to keep this top secret. They're not going to tell you that Black history started in the beginning of time in the book of Genesis. That's where Black history started at. That's where it started, all began. But they want you to believe that Black history started with Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X. That Black history didn't begin during that era of time. Black history started all the way back in the beginning of time in the book of Genesis. And that's why when you identify who you are, and when you can read this Bible and see what you fit in, it's going to give you a lot of pride. Because, look, all these people that played part in writing the scriptures in this Bible were different shades of brown, including Adam and Eve in the beginning. See, in America, we have a problem because America was built off what you would call Christianity. Okay, Christianity came from Roman Catholicism. The Roman Catholic Church was one of the wickedest churches on the earth. We don't deal with religion. We don't deal with religion, period. Because religion comes from the Latin word religio, which means to restrain and bond, to keep in bondage. So religion keeps your mind in bondage. It's not about religion, it's about your relationship with God. That's what you should be telling people. It's not about the religion, it's about the relationship with God. Well, it's only one nation of people that ever had a relationship with God in the Bible, and that's the nation of Israel. But the problem is, all people don't know that they are the Israelites today. We don't give you the history how the so-called black American or Negro, let me address this. Negro comes from the Spanish term negro, which means black. You go to a Hispanic and say, hey man, how you say black in Spanish? He say negro. So you're not black. You're not black. You're not the color of that TV. You're a different shade of brown. See, so your nationality is not determined by a color or a continent or a country. We're going to show you your true nationality, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So that will give you more pride in your walk. You will notify this as your history book and see what great and mighty people, because we had kings and queens in the ancient days. So Deuteronomy 28:1, read that again. He's talking to the nation of Israel. Moses, if y'all familiar with Moses, he wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called Torah. From Genesis to Deuteronomy, those are the first 5 books of the Bible. The Torah, which means the law books. Moses wrote this, Deuteronomy 28 chapter. So he's telling the Israelites that if they obey God, good things will happen to them. But if they disobey God, bad things will happen to them. And I'm bringing this out to show you why we face the conditions that we face today. It's because our forefathers done something wrong. You ever notice why? You ever just sit down and you just reminisce like, why black people ain't got it like that? Why we seem like the scum on the earth? Why we seem like the lowest nation of people on the earth? Why we got black on black crime, diabetes, AIDS, high blood pressure? You know, we got crack, cocaine, and marijuana in the communities. Why is it like this among us? Why we are out of all nationality of people? Why we suffer the most? What's going on with us as a nation? We trying to give you the understanding with the Bible. So read it once again, Deuteronomy 28:1.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
Okay.
And it shall come to pass.
It shall come to pass, because during that time when Moses ordered this to the nation of Israel, it didn't come to pass at that time. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So he told the nation of Israel back then, he said, if you listen to God, good things don't happen to you. Go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
To do all the commandments, but people fail to realize we have to keep God's commandments. When you don't keep God's commandments, we face the conditions that we face today. Okay, go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day.
Okay.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
Okay.
Above all nations.
Above what?
Above all nations.
Above what?
Above all nations.
God told the children of Israel that he was going to set them on high above all nations. So Thomas Jefferson lied when he said that all men are created equal. Thomas Jefferson was a bold-faced liar. He lied. He said the Declaration of Independence is not even ours. It wasn't even catered to us. Because during what they would call the American Revolutionary War, when America and Britain was going toe-to-toe, they was going, guess what we was doing? We were still picking cotton on the plantations. 4th of July, 1776. Guess what we were still doing? We were still picking cotton. Well, why is all people celebrating the 4th of July? That don't pertain to us. And Thomas Jefferson said it best when he said all men created equal. Thomas Jefferson was talking about his nation of people. He wasn't talking about us, because if he was talking about us, they would have freed us at that moment. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation at what year? 1865. That's 18 centuries. We're talking about the 17th century, 1776. Blacks were still in slavery. So what we're doing is celebrate the 4th of July. See what I'm saying? That's the thing that they're not telling you in these educational institutions. So he told Israel, if they obey him, they'll be a nation, a blessed nation above all people, so to speak, above all these. Israel is in the goal. There'll be a prosperous nation and a blessed nation above all these people, above the Europeans, above the East Indians, above the Arabs, above the Chinese, above the Japanese, above the Ethiopians, we're not African. I'm going to clear that up too. Above the Africans. And any other nation that is not a Negro or Indian descent, God told the nation of Israel that they were going to be the top nation to rule over all nations if they did what? If they obeyed his commandments. Now go to Deuteronomy 28:15. Now watch this.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken.
So he tells the children of Israel, you got a choice to obey or disobey. So he said, if you would not hearken, go ahead.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Okay.
That all these curses.
All these what?
All these curses.
Okay, go ahead.
Shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
He told the children of Israel, and this is how you can trace that we are the children of Israel. This is how you can go back and trace that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the children of Israel. You know why? Because out of all nationality of people, we are the only people that face the curses. He said that we was going to be cursed if we disobeyed. That's why black people are in the condition that they are in today. They're not telling you this in the church. I tried several times to go to the church and bring this out, only for the pastors and the deacons to put me out and call the police on me and have me escorted. Because they're not telling you truth. That's why we have to go on the streets. We can't go to church because they're not telling you truth. They're giving you religion in the church. They're not telling you the truth. So he telling the children of Israel, he said, if they disobey, that curses will come upon them. Don't you know we've been suffering the curses ever since then? One of the curses, read Go ahead.
Cursed shall not be in the city.
Cursed shall not be in the city. You look around, you tell me who cultivate the ghettos, the slums. You tell me who basically stay in the hood. Okay, Section 8, projects. You tell me who cultivate those the most out of all nations of people. It's the so-called black people. It's true. Go ahead. So that will be, we will be cursed in the city no matter where we go, we will be cursed. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Cursed shall not be in the city, and cursed shall not be in the field.
Now, we was cursed in the field when they had us on the plantations during the early 16th century. Okay? They had us working for the slave owners, picking cotton, or in the tobacco fields, in the sugar fields, okay? Cutting timber, doing all kinds of stuff for the slave master. That's what the so-called black man did. That's what the Hispanic man did too, for the slave master. He said that this is going to be our punishment, that we will be cursed in the city or in the field. Okay? Well, we labored all day and didn't get no wages for it. We'd be lucky to get a nice meal. After lynching us and hanging us and beating our backside, castrating our men, raping our women. That's what the slave owner did to us. So slavery is in the Bible. Your history is in the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American history is in the Bible. I'm not going to read all the curses, but I'm going to skip through Deuteronomy 28 chapter. I'm going to skip around because I'm not going to read the whole entire chapter. It's too long. But Deuteronomy 28 chapter speaks of blessings and curses. The nation of Israel, we chose curses over blessings. Little do we know that these curses are still on us. These curses are still on us. Now, I'm going to pick out some verses out of Deuteronomy 28 chapter because I'm not going to read the whole entire chapter. And you tell me what other nation on earth fit these curses besides blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So we're trying to get our people out. We're trying to get our people to see the reason why they face the conditions that they face today. Okay, now watch this. It says, skip to Deuteronomy 28 verse 30. Read that.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 30.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
He telling the Israelites, the men of Israel, he said, you're going to betroth a wife. To betroth is to be engaged or to be pledged to. He said, you're going to have a wife, but another man going to lie with your wife. That happened in the 16th century all the way to the 18th century. That happened when the slave owners took our wives from us. We couldn't do nothing. If you wanted your wife, he took your wife and you couldn't do nothing about it. The slave master did what he wanted to do with your wife. That's what happened on the plantation. It says that that's a what really meant.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife.
Go ahead.
And another man shall lie with her.
The number man that lied down with the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men and women was what they would call the so-called European Caucasian, or they would call them supposedly white people today. So that's why they're trying to ban slavery out of schools, because when you talk about slavery, it connects you back to the Bible. Because we are the descendants of slavery, and no one can refute that. Slavery, we are the descendants of slavery. This is exactly how we got over here, from slavery. So when did this happen? When did all this bad stuff happen? It happened during the time of child slavery, from 1619 going all the way up through the 18th century. And it only happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So this slavery process, what it did was it destroyed us mentally, spiritually, and physically. I'm going to show you something. Read the rest of it.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 30.
Okay.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Okay.
Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
Now wait a minute. Who built the White House? Slaves built the White House in the whole U.S. Capitol. Never got credit for it. I was telling somebody they should have called it the Black House. Slaves built it. But can't one black man stay in it? You understand? So we built the U.S. Capitol and including the White House and a lot more in America. But we never benefited from it. You know who benefited from the blood, sweat, and tears of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? The Europeans did. On the top of giving us a false religion and a false God. That's what we're trying to bring out. So you got to know your history and you got to know how great your people were before the curses was on your people. That's going to automatically give pride in our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So that's the rest of that verse. Go ahead.
Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
Okay, go ahead.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
Because that's talking about the labor that we put out. We never benefited from it. They work us from sun up to sun down, and we never would have never made it if it wasn't for slave labor. That's the reason why this country made it, is because of slave labor. They needed that. So, in reference to Sister Judah about Israel reading this verse, it said that we shall do what? Concerning the vineyards?
It says that thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes.
So imagine having your vineyard not being able to gather your own grapes that you planted. Imagine that. Well, we didn't benefit from our hard work because somebody else did. We just skipped through the curses. All right, now go ahead and read verse 32.
Deuteronomy 28:32.
Okay.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
They did that during the slave auction. All the sons and daughters, they said to Mr. Jimmy Williams from Jamestown, Virginia, they put slaves up on Port A, Port B, Port C, and they said, how much you want for slave on Port A? 45, 55, 65, 75, sold to such and such slave owner. And then they did the next slave like that. They busted up families. They sold the slaves and they separated families. They sold the little babies. They sold the little girls. They split the husbands and the wives from each other. So after you was bought and purchased, you didn't know where you was going. They had slaves in North Central and South America, all down in the Caribbean islands. Once you was put up for auction and once you was sold as a slave, that was the last time you saw your family. So this is what we're trying to bring out. Black history is in the Bible. Okay, go ahead.
It says, Deuteronomy 28:32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Who was our sons and daughters given to? Who was our sons and daughters given to? Why did Hispanics speak Spanish? They wasn't speaking Spanish before the 1400s. Why do Mexicans speak Spanish? Because the Spaniards conquered the Native American Indians. The Spaniards came here to America and colonized this land and forced and put Catholicism on the Native American Indians and killed the Native American Indians if they would not worship this image right here. I'm trying to bring it out. Where that image at? I think it's not here. Let me see. That's why we call this the devil. Don't take it personal, y'all. It's the truth. The truth can't be the truth. This is not racist, people. Y'all don't understand like I feel. This is not racist. The word devil goes back to the Greek, which means diabolos. When you call someone a devil, it goes back to diabolos, which means deceiver. This image comes with Christianity. This image has deceived, I cannot tell you how many people in North America. Because a lot of people actually think this is Jesus Christ. It's not Jesus Christ. It's actually the second son of Pope Alexander VI. Pope Alexander VI of Rome put his second son up in the year 1492 to be the new Jesus Christ. Guess who painted it? Leonardo da Vinci. Ever since the 1400s, they've been giving you a false Christ, and it came out of the Catholic Church. Christianity came out of Roman Catholicism too. So, don't this image come from Christianity? Well, you're going to find out blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans weren't even Christians before the 1400s. See, we learned this Christianity in slavery. We learned about this image in slavery. They killed slaves for not worshiping this image. They beat our backs out. They said, this is your new God now. This is who you should pray to. This is who the little boys and the girls and everyone else on the plantation should pray to. Let me catch y'all not praying to this and see what happens. So that's what we're trying to bring this out. We're going all the way back to show you all this came with the curses. So, all right, continue to go on. What it says?
32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
That being on the plantation, go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Because that broke her mother heart to see her son and daughter getting sold. She couldn't do nothing. She screamed. She pulled her hair out. She cried. She said, don't take my baby, no. They took her kids on. She never saw her kids again. You know why all this happened to Israel? Because God told Israel in the beginning. He said, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to do this to you. So, you know why black people are facing the conditions that we face? It's because God intended for us to go through this in order to punish us for the transgression of His laws. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites. Well, laws were given to the nation of Israel. And for breaking those laws, we got to pay. And He said that this curse is going to be on us for 400 years. Now, you come from 16 to 2019 and tell me that ain't 400 years. 2019, something's going to get ugly. Because that'll be a total calculation of 400 years. See, we're trying to show you the truth. They ain't going to tell you this in the church. We don't try to bring it out in the church. He's reading over again.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 41.
Okay.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters.
Okay, go ahead.
But thou shalt not enjoy them.
We won't be able to enjoy our sons and daughters. Go ahead.
For they shall go into captivity.
They shall go into what?
Into captivity.
How we get to America? Slavery, captivity, slave boat. This is your history book, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This was written for you to learn, to see where you come from and the conditions that you're in today, so we can learn from that and not keep making the same mistakes. How you don't understand your purpose in life if you don't know who you are? That's what we're trying to. A lot of people like, we're not making fun of y'all, but a lot of people besides y'all be saying, oh, I'm black, African American, oh, I'm a Negro, oh, I'm this, I'm that. None of that. You are Israelite from the nation of Israel, kings and queens according to the Bible. Go ahead, watch this. That's the rest of it. Now, read 28, 43.
28, 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
The stranger shall do what?
Shall get up above thee very high.
Who run the government? Do we? Who run the government? Who make rules? The legislative branch. Who own that? We own very little of our own businesses. Now, I ain't gonna say that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't own no businesses, but we own very little of our own business. The majority of corporations and businesses owned by the so-called European Caucasians. So he said that the stranger would do what?
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
That's why we be walking around saying, well, we ain't got it like them people. I'm on a four-wheeler. He got a four-wheeler at the age of 12. Dog, he got his first truck at the age of 16. I'm still riding a bicycle. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got it like that. For real. They got mansions, pools in the back, all type of stuff. We eat Roman noodles. We ain't got it like that. We struggling, man. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? We ain't living in Beverly Hills. Orly West, Hudson Dockett, that's where we at. It's real. And this is governmental based. It said that the stranger was going to get above us very high because the stranger wasn't above us in the beginning of time. We was above the stranger. But disobedience allowed the stranger to get above us because we broke God's commandments and God said, I'm going to put these people over you to teach you a lesson about breaking my commandments. And after this, maybe you'll understand. Go ahead.
It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
That's what happened to us. That's why we in the conditions that we in today. That's why black people face the conditions that they face because they disobeyed God. See, you probably never knew you was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah because you've been taught that you're African American or you black and this and that. No, you are an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Judah was your forefather. Judah is the fourth son of Jacob. Guess who else came out of Judah? Christ did. Guess what color Judah was? Black. How you get a white one in America? We trying to give you history to show you all this came in slavery. You didn't know nothing about this. Go ahead. All right, now, read Deuteronomy, because people say, I still don't believe that that's true. The Bible is a true book. We're going to show you this. Read verse 48. Watch this.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48.
Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
Now, our friends.
Thy enemies.
Oh, what?
Thine enemies.
So God said we got enemies. He said I should serve what?
Thine enemies.
Okay, tell me who you work for. Tell me who you pay your water bill to, your light bill to, your rent bill to. Tell me. He said you shall serve your enemies. Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
That's serving in slavery. Go ahead.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So who sent the Europeans on us? God did. Because we was a disobedient nation of people. And God ain't going to punish you personally. God will use another nation of people to punish you. And if you doubt me, when you read throughout the Bible, you're going to see Israelites were punished several times. They was in Egypt for 430 years for slaves. God punished the children of Israel by using the Egyptians. The Assyrians took the children of Israel over in 721 BC. After the Assyrians punished them, the Babylonians came in on 586 BC. After the Babylonians took them as slaves, the Persians took them as slaves. After the Persians took them as slaves, the Greeks took them as slaves. After the Greeks took them as slaves, Christ was born during the Roman captivity. He was a slave of the Roman Empire. After Rome, now he ends up to the revived Roman Empire, which is so-called America. And guess what you still are in America? You slaves. And anybody tell me that they ain't a slave, you shouldn't have a birth certificate or a social security number. That proves you're a slave. You shouldn't have to have a tag on your car and insurance to drive. That proves that you're a slave in America. Okay? Why you gotta pay taxes? Why we pay taxes? Why we pay taxes? They're gonna get their taxes out of you. That proves you're a slave. If you don't have a social security, if you don't have a social security or a birth certificate, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to stay in America. So why did they come up with this social security system and this birth certificate thing? It's all hidden as a form of slavery. We're trying to show you that. In the beginning, we was not like that. Watch this. And it's not mandatory that you got to get a social security card. You don't have to if you don't want to. Read this. Read it.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
You're going to serve your enemies for food. Go ahead.
And in thirst.
You're going to serve your enemies for thirst. Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
You're going to serve your enemies for clothes. Go ahead.
And in want of all things.
Anything you want, you got to go to the so-called white man and get it. Because he owned the government. And guess who gave him charge of this? God did. God put the white people in power. He put white people in power for a reason, to punish us. So don't complain in America about how we ain't getting no justice or no peace. Don't complain in America how the cops are killing our people up and we can't seem to get anything got the deal. God don't intend for us to get anything got the deal. They gonna keep doing that to us until we return back to his laws, statutes, and commandments. You think God ain't using the right man? The Bible tells you man goes of the law. He controls each and every one of you. He decides and do your dealings, even your thinking. So if God want a white man to kill another black man, it's going to happen. So people say, I don't understand. What's going on? You know what? God, it's time for Israel to be judged. It's time for us to be punished because we have played with God so many times. And God said, look, y'all still are not keeping my commandments. The church tells you you're not even under the law. But sin is the transgression of the law. So what is sin? The breaking of God's laws. So how you can be a sinner if you're not under the law? But anyways, go ahead and read that part.
It says, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
He put yokes of iron upon our necks. Go ahead.
Until he hath destroyed.
I don't have to sit here and explain that. This happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you still doubt me, I'm going to give you one last verse out of Deuteronomy 28 chapter, and I'm going to move to something else. Read Deuteronomy 28, 16. Watch this.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
The Bible tells how you got over here. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Wait a minute. What God told the children of Israel?
It said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Why he said that he was going to bring us into Egypt again? Because we was already in Egypt for 130 years the first time. Who set the children of Israel from bondage of the Egyptians? Moses and his brother Aaron. You know the story how we passed through the Red Sea into the land of Canaan. We was in Egypt serving the Africans, Northeast Africans, those are Egyptians. We were serving those people for 130 years. After God was merciful enough to let us go from the slavery of the Egyptians, when we got into the land of Canaan, of milk and honey in Palestine, Israel, when we got into that land, we disobeyed God again. And God said, this time, you doing what? Deuteronomy 26.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
He said, you're going into Egypt again, but this time it's going to be by ship. You tell me who the only type of people that went on cargo slave ships and bondage to what they call the Western Hemisphere, besides the so-called Negroes. It's called a transatlantic slave trade. That's what it's called, or a triangular trade. The Bible tells you how you get here and what you need to do to get out of the situation. He said that we're going into Egypt again. Egypt in Greek, Egypt is a Greek word, which means Egyptos, which means bondage. Go to Exodus 13 and 3, I'm going to show you that. Because he said we shall go into Egypt again with ship. Egypt in Greek means Egyptos, which means a place of bondage. Read Exodus 13 and 3, watch this.
Exodus 13, verse 3.
Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is what?
Bondage.
So Egypt means bondage. Egyptos in Greek, which means slavery, bondage. So when you go back to Deuteronomy 28, 6-8, he tells the Israelites that we're going into Egypt again. Meaning that we're going into bondage and slavery again, but this time how?
With ships.
Because the first time we went into Egypt, we didn't need boat. But he said we're going into Egypt again with ships. Anybody tell you that America ain't Egypt, tell the government to take that pyramid off your $1 bill. Look at your $1 bill. Ain't no pyramids in America. The only two locations where pyramids are located is Northeast Africa and Central America, Mexico. Why they got a pyramid on U.S. currency? Don't the dollar bill say United States of America? So why does it have Egyptology symbolism on the back? America don't even print its own money. European bankers print the money. So why do they have a pyramid on the back of U.S. currency? Because the pyramid symbolizes America as Egypt, which means bondage. And you are all slaves here again, just like you were slaves in Egypt the first time. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Which ship? Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Meaning that we will never see the land of Canaan no more again after we shipped off on boats. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
We shall be what?
Sold unto your enemies.
God said we're going to be what?
Sold unto your enemies.
That's slavery. Go ahead.
For bondman.
We're going to be sold for bondman, meaning slave man. Go ahead.
And bondwoman.
And slave woman. The woman going to get it too. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
Meaning that no man will be able to redeem us from this situation. That's why we not in God. Because he said that we're going to go into Egypt again, but this time it's going to be with ship and we're going to be sold to our what?
Enemies.
Friends.
Enemies.
Allies.
Enemies.
So we got enemies who we were sold to. Our people supposed to be pushing a revolutionary movement, but we don't fell over and went to sleep in America. When the last person that was really on this revolutionary movement was Tupac. When they killed Tupac, they paid us off and we fell over and went to sleep and pushed the revolutionary movement to the side. That was on it back in the day. The Black Panther. That was on it back in the day. AIM, the American Indian movement. The Brown Berets. Dealing with the Puerto Ricans. We was on this revolutionary movement back in the day. But they paid us in full and they financed us to control us. And we fell over and died. Now we don't even know who the enemy is. But you live among your enemy every day, whether you believe it or not. And God never called you a friend in the Bible. That's why we got enemies. But in America, they taught us to integrate. And that's what Martin Luther King taught. But the Bible speaks against Martin Luther King. You ain't know that? It's in the Bible. It's in the scripture. Martin Luther King taught us to integrate instead of separate. We more powerful when we separate. It's like a cup of black coffee. When you put milk in, it weakens the whole thing. Understand that coffee is strong, but milk weakens it. We're supposed to be a separate nation of people. It was never meant for all nations to come together because the Bible says that God intended for us to be among our own nation. But you know what? The Europeans would bring nation after nation and integrate nation after nation in America. Integration weakens you as a nation of people. We need to separate again. That's what the Bible is all about. So it said that no man shall what? Martin Luther King tried to do that. What happened to him? Malcolm X tried to do that. What happened to him? What about Sir the Truth? What about every other political black leader that stood up and tried to redeem us from the situation? What happened to them? They got killed. You know why? Because all these black leaders was financed to be controlled. The white man financed NAACP, if you didn't know that. And they financed us to control us. And when you get out of line and you try to go against the head man, they have you executed. That's what happened. These people weren't pushing no power of their own. These people were financed to be controlled. That's why Martin Luther King got a bullet in his head. People not telling you that because they revolted against the main person. Martin Luther King was working for the Soviet Union. He went to a communist movement to get his communist school to get his program started. His name wasn't even Martin Luther King. His name was Michael King. He stole that from a Catholic Protestant. Martin Luther King never read the Bible. He studied from Hudson Dockett teachings, East Indian. He never did that. You understand? But this is the lie they tell you in school. They tell y'all kids so many lies in school. They don't want the kids to understand the truth. I try to put several videos out on YouTube. They ban my videos in all countries. Ain't that something? I can't put a video on YouTube for the government banning it. What's so secretive you don't want the people to hear about? I'm telling you this today. So we are kings and queens. We gotta wake up. Go on. That's enough for Deuteronomy 28, the 28th chapter. Now, I'm gonna go into basically, matter of fact, because I told you everything I do comes from the Bible. Go to Isaiah chapter 2. See, so this is why we in the condition because we disobeyed God. Isaiah chapter 2. I got a couple more verses now. I'll be finished. Isaiah chapter 2. And then I'll allow y'all to ask some questions and stuff. Isaiah chapter 2. I believe it's Isaiah chapter 2. Let's see. No, Isaiah chapter 1. So look at verse 1. And read verse 3.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3.
Watch this.
The ox knoweth his owner,
It say the ox knows his owner. Go ahead.
and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know.
So read it again. Read it over again. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3.
That's why when I open it up, I ask y'all nationality. What was y'all nationality? Some say black, some say Christian, some say I'm American. Neither one is true. Go ahead, watch this.
Verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
The ox is a dumb animal, but he still knows who owns it. That's what the Bible telling you. Go ahead.
And the ass his master's crib.
Ass is not bad. That's a donkey. A jackass is a donkey in the Bible. It tells you that the jackass even knows his master crib. Means he knows where he belongs. Go ahead.
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
They do what?
Doth not know.
They don't know. We don't know who we are. Go ahead.
My people do not consider.
And they don't even try to consider when we try to edify them and tell them who we are. Oh, leave me alone. Oh, I'm a American. That ain't no Israelite. I'm a black man in America. I'm a Negro. That's what we do. Because our people don't consider. Go ahead.
Verse 4. I, sinful nation.
The Bible says that we are a sinful nation. That's why God has to punish us by using other nations. That's why when people say black lives matter, black lives don't matter. Your life don't matter to God if you ain't keeping his commandments. That's what we're trying to do. Your life only matters to God when you're doing God's will. If you want to revolt against God and rebel against God, he will have you put to death. That's what the Bible tells you. So your life really don't matter to God unless you live in a righteous life. Many of our people are not doing that. They're not living a righteous life. They falling out of all these aspects of the world and different things. So in order to live a long and righteous life, you got to live a life that's pleasing to God. So if you're not doing that, your life really don't matter to God, according to the Bible. So if you want to continue to disobey God, he will have something terribly done to you. Okay? All right now. It said, go ahead, verse 4.
Verse 4. I, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers.
See, you know what we do, y'all. I ain't got to go into detail what black and Hispanic people do. Come on now. Go ahead.
Children that are corruptors.
See, that's why it's good to obey your parents. That's why it's good to do what your mom and daddy tell you to do. But even the Bible tells you a disobedient child, y'all know this now, shorten his days. So that's why we're supposed to be obedient, not only to our earthly parents, but we have a heavenly Father too. We got to be obedient to our heavenly Father so we can prolong your days on the earth. You know why a lot of young black boys and girls are getting killed? Because they're being very disrespectful to their parents. The Bible tells you how to live. That's why the Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. It gives you the instructions on how to live a righteous and a long life. But when you disobey your parents, smack your lips and do all kind of stuff to your parents, God sees that. He don't like that. And you better believe that he'll deal with you. He might not deal with you today or next week, next month, next year. He don't get you there. Because you shorten your days by being disobedient. So people coming up to me, oh man, that was the 6-year-old boy got shot in his head, man, what happened? That 6-year-old boy, I saw how he did his mom and his father. I seen that. He was very disrespectful. So death don't happen by chance. Every death is a reason. That's the reason why in the beginning of time, God killed and flooded out the earth and spared 8 people and killed everybody else. Y'all know about Noah's Ark. Because God looked upon the earth and seen the wickedness of the earth. He seen how wicked the earth was. It was only 8 people that survived the flood in the days of Noah. Everybody else was drowned. You think God cared? Black lives matter then? Did black lives matter when God killed everybody on the earth and spared 8 people? Is black lives don't matter when Christ returned and kill all these wicked people up on the earth? Because he coming again. Let's see if your life matter to Christ if you live in the wicked. Black lives don't matter to God. The lives only matter to God is righteous lives. Go ahead.
It says, they have forsaken the Lord.
Because we forsook the Lord. And we forsook the Lord for this. This is what we forsook the Lord with. I forgot to get the image of the truth. But it's okay. The Bible classified the Messiah, a Mashiach, as a melanated man, a colored man, of woolly hair and brass skin. Okay, but this was put on us. It said that we forsook the Lord. Well, it ain't really so so much of our fault. This happened to us in slavery. It's like the slave owner put this on our people and made us worship this. So in general, we forsook the Lord for this. Because a lot of people say, man, I don't ask so many people to come against me for this image. This is Jesus Christ. No, it's not. It's not Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was a colored man with a hair. A so-called Negro like you and I. But we haven't been given that in America. And now the other prophets, including Moses, going back to Adam and Eve. Okay, Adam and Eve come from the dust of the earth. The deeper you dig in the soil, the darker it gets. The earth is different shades of brown. So how can the opposite come from that? Human, think about the word human. H-U-E pertains to color. So it's human, colored people in the beginning of the earth. They just took the E out, human today. So we gave you that Isaiah. Now we're gonna show you this is that the ad was not put the Israel. Go ahead, read the rest of it.
It says, they have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward.
So you know what? We provoke God to anger, and that's what caused us to be in this situation. I'm gonna give me Ezekiel 39 chapter. See, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you ever wonder why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have had so hard, it's because we rebelled on God. A lot of people say that God punish white people too, and Chinese people. Let me tell you something. They don't matter to God in the Bible. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm telling you the truth. That's why in St. John 8:32 it says, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Now, does the Bible teach this? It's been in your Bible a long time. Pastor ain't gonna bring it out to you because he's on the 501c3 contract. He's been told not to say certain stuff, including TD Jakes and other international pastors. They all Freemasons. They've been told not to say certain things on television to keep you blind. We're trying to show you the truth. We're trying to show you where you at, Ezekiel 39. And read this. I'm going to just use the Bible. This is King James. On your free time, write these verses down, and you can look at it yourself. I'm showing you how valuable blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are to God. Now, I'm not coming down on other nations that are not Negro and Indian descent. I'm not coming down on other nations. I'm just showing you that according to the Bible, they don't matter to God. God only uses, let me show you something. God only uses from 2 to 18. These are what you would call heathens or Gentiles. Number one is the chosen people. People say, well, why God created all these other people if they're not valuable to him? The reason why God created all these other nations of people is to use each one of these nations to punish this nation when they disobey him. So that's why God created other nations of people to punish us by using those nations when we get out of line. And we're going to show you that. Did it not happen in the Bible? Who had Israelites during the time of Christ and slaves? The Romans did. The Romans did. Okay? Let's read Ezekiel. Look at Ezekiel 39:22. Y'all listen to this. Ezekiel 39:22. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 22.
Go ahead.
So the house of Israel shall know.
Wait a minute. The house of what?
So the house of Israel.
The house of Israel. Go ahead.
Shall know that I am the Lord their God.
Y'all hear that? Wait a minute. They go to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The so-called Negroes from the tribe of Judah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. These are all your biblical national names right here. The names on this side, all the names put on you in slavery. There ain't no such thing as Puerto Ricans. Puerto Rico is a country. Puerto Rico means Puerto Riches. So when you go into this, own Puerto Rican, man, so I can put a boat on your back. Because Puerto Rico is a region, it's not your nationality. Negro is comes from Spanish Negro, which is black. That's not your nationality. Going all the way down to the Cubans, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. God is only the God of black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. No other nation on earth. Watch this, read it again.
It says, so the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God.
I'm the Lord who God?
Their God.
He said, I'm the God of Israel. Go ahead.
From that day and forth.
Now watch this.
Verse 23. And the heathen.
And the heathen. Who are the heathen? Other nations that are not Israelites. That are not black and Indian descent. Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity.
Why did we get over here? Why did this happen? Why did the transatlantic slave trade happen? Why did the manifest destiny? Because we can talk about the northern kingdom too. Because the Spanish got it too. The conquistadors, the Spaniards came over here and killed 77 to 100 million indigenous people, and they stole America. And on the top of it, they want to say, God bless America. Really? God don't bless a stolen country that was was built off the blood, sweat, and tears of our Native Americans from the tribe of Gad. See, it's really funny to me. See, you gotta have wisdom and knowledge. Only when you have that history and when you know from point A to point Z, you can go and help other people. If you stuck in between, you ain't gonna know where you fit in. See, we know how America was established, and it wasn't a good thing. So it's nothing about how good about America being established. It was many Native Americans that lost their sons and daughters behind the bloodshed of the Spaniards and the Italians to get this country. Because it was all behind greed. Christopher Columbus was a murderer. How do you get a holiday?
Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage.
See, we discontinue from our what?
Our heritage.
That's why we don't know what our foreparents did before we were born. They was not doing what we're doing today. Our foreparents was not doing the same thing we were doing. Read it again.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
Your heritage is your nation, your culture, the language you spoke, your customs that you kept. Our forefathers and foremothers are not around to tell us what they did back in the ancient world because they was killed off. So we grew up among lies in America. We grew up among so much in America. Like they tell you January is the first month of the year. Really? The Bible tells you January is not the first month of the year. The Bible tells you March is the first month of the year. Yeah, not January. January is the 11th month of the year. If you doubt me, go back to October. Why they call it October? October. How many legs an octopus have? How many sides a stop sign has? Octagon. Octopus. If a mother has 8 children, they call her octomom, but it's called October. It's the 8th month. Even if you go back to September comes from septimius, which means 7. They even have different shapes called a septagon, which has 7 sides. Thus September, the 7th month. They tell you something else in America. See how backwards they got us walking. Even when you go down to December, December comes from their side, from Latin, which means 10. Every 10 years is what? A decade. You got powers of 10 that's called decimals. Therefore, it's December, the 10th month. They told you it's the 12th month. The government been lying ever since. They keep our people in mental bondage. We trying to set you free. And then when January come around, Happy New Year. That's why they say April Fool. They call you a fool for believing that January was the first month of the year. That's how it comes from. I'm trying to show it's true. So it's a lot of stuff that we learn in our captivity that our forefathers didn't teach and our forefathers didn't teach us. Read that again.
It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
We discontinue from our heritage. We separated from our customs, our language. If I say Shema Yasha Yahweh Allah Hayanawi Yahweh Akar, I just said, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Okay, that's what we spoke before we were speaking English. Why do every so-called black man, woman, and child speak English in America? Why do we speak English? Where does English come from? English comes from England. England is located where? In Europe. England is located in Britannia, Great Britain. So that should make us British, right? That should make us British. Because we speak English? Why do we speak English? Because that's letting you know that the British took us as slaves and taught us their customs and their languages. When they put us on the plantation, they taught us English. What were you speaking before English? We were speaking Hebrew. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were speaking Hebrew, the holy tongue. But we left that after captivity. We left that and took upon another strange tongue. Read it again.
It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
We never call Christ Jesus. That ain't his name. It ain't no J's in the Hebrew alphabet. J is the newest letter in the alphabet, if you didn't know that. J is known as Johnny Come Lately because it's the newest letter in the alphabet. Look it up when you get home. J, you know when J made his appearance? J came during the 17th century, the 1700s. Before the 1700s, there was no J on the earth. Nowhere. In the Hebrew, Greek, or Latin. If you got me, I got the first Bible that was printed in what they would call that was printed in Old Quaker English that's called the King James 1611 edition. And it ain't got no Jesus, John, Jerusalem, Job, but none of that in here. It ain't no J's in this Bible. This is the first Bible. That when King James sought 47 scholars to translate the Bible. King James, when he had those scholars to translate the Bible from the Hebrew to the Greek, from the Latin to the English, When in the midst of the translation, there are no J's. If you doubt me, you can look in this Bible, there are no J's. So, 2,500 years ago, was they calling him Jesus? No, they was not. J is the newest letter in the alphabet. That's why I say we discontinue from our heritage, because that's what happened. Our forefathers and mothers now. I'm just glad that the Most High gave me the gift to put the Spirit on me, just to learn this stuff. But I'm trying to let our people know now, if you call him Jesus, ain't no offense. If you call him Jesus, that's what you call him, that's what you call him. But once you understand the truth, then I wouldn't recommend you call him that. But his real name is Yahushua. Yahushua. Yah is he, Yahushua delivers. He delivers. Yahushua HaMashiach, which they translated as the Messiah. His name is not God. You'll see God when you read the Bible, G-O-D. God in Hebrew means Elohim, which means power. That's all it means, power. So when they say Lord God, when you see Lord in the Bible, L-O-R-D, that's Lord is a title. The scholars, when they came across the word Lord, they said it wasn't Lord at the beginning of time. It was his actual name there. They said that the name was too holy for sinful man to utter. So they removed the original name of the Heavenly Father and replaced it with Lord, Jehovah, and so forth. Jehovah, remember there's no J's in the Hebrew. The 39 books of the Bible from the Old Testament were written in Hebrew. There's no J's in the Hebrew, so they wasn't calling his name Jehovah. See what I'm saying? But the scholars put that in the Bible. And ever since, that's all we knew. God, Lord, Jehovah, that's what we call. But we have to get a deeper understanding and go back. That's what it means when it says, thou shalt what? 17, read it again.
It says, thou shalt discontinue from thine heritage, and that I gave thee.
We'll be calling him Jesus in the last days. We'll be praying to a white Jesus in the last days. We'll be thinking that everybody in the Bible right in the last days. We'll be thinking we Gentiles in the last days. We won't even know we Israelites in the last days. You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't know our history because we discontinued from our history and our heritage and our customs. So, I'm just putting some stuff out because I'm moving real fast. I got a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah, that's talking about discontinuing from our heritage. Now, I need to put something out because people tell me that we preach hate, and we racist. And that's all we preach about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We don't concern other nations of people. Why we don't concern other nations of people? Why we just preach on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Because if you're going by this book right here, this book is only for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This book is for only Israel. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for Israel. I tell you one thing. The oppressor, the enemy, got his hand on our book. And you know, after he got his hand on our book, he started putting images in the Bible. Give me Job 9:24. I'm going to show you something. The Bible was never the European book. But you know what they did? They said in order to make blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans believe that the Bible is our book, we got to turn Abraham. We got to make Abraham white. We got to change Moses' color. We got to change all the disciples and Jesus' color. We got to make, I'm saying Jesus for y'all say, we got to make them white people. So therefore, when black people begin to try to equate themselves with the Bible and read the Bible, this is called reverse psychological propaganda. Black people will look at white people and black people will feel something. You cannot pray to a white Jesus and don't feel inferior. That's what they did. Read Job 9:24. I'm just showing you. Read Job 9:24.
Chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth was given to the hands of the wicked. Now, we don't have to tell you who control and run the earth. The wicked do. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges.
The number one judge is Yahweh, who the world calls God. Where it says he did what?
He covereth the faces of the judges.
They cover up the faces of the judges. How do they do that? It's called Renaissance art. It's called Renaissance period. This happened in the year 1453. It's called the Renaissance period, beginning with the Borgia family, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. They went throughout Europe whitewashing all the black biblical images that our forefathers left behind. Because what most people don't know about our people, Europe ain't even where white people is from. Europe comes from a black Phoenician goddess by the name of Europa. That's why they call it Europe. And guess what? We ruled Europe for 1,000 years. We ruled Europe all the way from 193 AD to 1453 AD to the Renaissance period. Black people ruled Europe. King James was a black man. Shakespeare was a black man. You've been tricked. They made Shakespeare white, didn't they? Mozart was a black man. The Three Musketeers were black people. We ruled Europe. It's called the Dark Ages. Some call it the Byzantine Empire. and some call it the medieval times, when we ruled for 1,000 years. And guess what? It wasn't no European people up in Europe, because guess what it was? We forced them out. We forced them out of Europe. We forced them out of Rome. And what you would call between the Black and Caspian Seas, known as the Caucasus Mountains. So they were staying in the caves while we was ruling for 1,000 years. That's where you get the word Caucasian. It means cave dweller. They was called the people on the Caucasus Mountains because they dwelt in the clefts of the rock. They dwelt in caves. What they tell us today? That we came from apes and monkeys and that we were swinging around on the trees. You really think that's what we were doing? That's what they tell us though. But who still get the credit for being Tarzan? Not us. Tarzan was black. We don't get the credit though. But what I'm saying is, you've been lied to. I wish I could bring out so much more, but I'm just trying to give y'all a little, trying to give y'all a little. I ain't trying to give y'all too much, because you give a person too much knowledge and explode their brain. But what I'm trying to tell you, read Job 9:24 again.
It said that Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth was given to the hand of the wicked. Who won the earth? The European people. Go ahead.
He covered the faces of the judges.
He covered all the biblical images up and made them look as his appearance and lied to us. Go ahead. If he didn't do this, go ahead.
Where and who is he?
Job is asking a question. Job said, now Job never told the particular person who did this. That's why you got to use precept upon precept. Because it was said in the beginning of time in Genesis that who would get power on the earth. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Bible, but in the beginning of time, I'm going to say this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to close it out. In the beginning of time, we need to go back and see where white people came from. Because a lot of white people don't even know their history. So-called white people don't know their history. So we need to go back in the beginning of time and see where they come from. Because if the Bible is a true book, all nations come out this Bible. So let's go back in the beginning of time and see where they come from. Because they got all different type of doctrines out here that they came from this planet and that. No, let's see what the Bible says. Go give me Genesis 25:25. And we're going to show you that. Genesis 25:25. I'm sorry I can't bring out a whole lot of stuff tonight, y'all. I'm trying to move as fast as I can. Genesis 25:25. And this is talking about the birth of Esau and Jacob from Isaac and Rebekah. Y'all know the Bible, y'all know what I'm talking about. Esau and Jacob was born of a woman named Rebekah. So Genesis 25, and start with 21. Watch this. This is Genesis. I'm going to show you the birth of the so-called white man. Genesis 25, verse 21. Go ahead.
Genesis 25, verse 21.
Go ahead.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife.
Isaac went to pray for his wife because his wife had infertility problems. She couldn't bear kids. Go ahead.
Because she was barren.
She was barren. That means she was able to have children. Go ahead.
And the Lord was entreated of him.
So the Lord heard Isaac's prayer because he interceded for his wife, and he prayed to God to open his wife's womb so she could be able to have kids. Go ahead.
And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
She was able to bear children from that moment. He prayed to God. God heard his prayer. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
So this woman was pregnant with twin boys. Rebekah was pregnant with twin boys, and saying the children struggled within her. Because she was pregnant between non-identical twins, maternal twins. Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
She said, what's going on in my uterus? Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So she went to the Lord and prayed about what's going on in her uterus. Because her two twin boys in there was fighting and tussling in her uterus. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her,
okay, go ahead.
2 nations are in thy womb.
How many nations?
2 nations are in thy womb.
You're going to find out that's white people and black people. You're going to find out that's Israelites and Edomites. Wait a minute, he said 2 nations are in thy womb. The first 2 nations are Israel and Edom, the nation of Edom. The Israelites and Edomites, 2 nations. Which the Israelites would be modern day blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the Edomites would be modern day so-called white people. Go ahead.
It says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy God.
2 manner of people shall be what?
Separated.
That's why we find the Bible. That's why they knew the Bible. That's why we could never get together. That's why they had the segregational times where they had white only this, black only that. Blacks couldn't be with whites. And we were taught looking at their women the wrong way. We was lynched and beaten up. We sat on the back of the bus. We were segregated. You know why? Because Even the Europeans, your founding fathers knew the scriptures, what this Bible talks about. It said two nations are what?
It says, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated.
So God never intended for these two boys to come together. God never intended for these two nations to integrate. That's why it's wrong in the eyes of God to integrate. He never intended that. He told Rebecca even before the boys were born that two nations shall be separated. Martin Luther King tried to unite us to our enemies, to weaken us as a nation. Go ahead.
From thy gods.
Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
The one people shall be stronger than the other people, meaning that the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, the Israelites will be stronger than the Europeans, physically, spiritually, and mentally. The reason why it says that, because that's why the so-called white man, he couldn't stay out of the field over periods of time. He had to use melanated people because his skin would begin to peel if he would get out and try to cultivate, you know what I'm saying, the lands, the crops. He couldn't stay in the hot heat for various amounts of time because he had very little melanin in his skin, his pigment. So he would use someone that can bear radiation well. Like that's why we cultivated the plantations. So it said that we should be stronger. That's why they used us for that very purpose. They couldn't do it. Go ahead.
It said, and the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall serve the younger. When Esau came, that's what God told Rebekah, the firstborn child, Esau, that he was supposed to serve his younger brother. Go ahead.
It says, verse 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled,
when she finally had her kids, watch this.
Behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. Go ahead.
It says, and the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
The first came out what?
The first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
That was Esau. That's the birth of the white nation, the so-called white nation, Caucasian, European people. That's the birth right here in Genesis, the 25th chapter. It said the first child came out red. To get away from that name, they started calling themselves white people. The Bible never said the first came out white. The Bible said the first came out what?
Red.
The first came out red. How you would say red in Hebrew is Aaron. The first came out red. Aaron, they called his name what?
They said all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
They called his name what?
Esau.
They called his name Esau. The Bible tells you Esau's name was changed from Esau to Edom. They called his name Esau. Esau in the Hebrew means Ishwa, which means wasted away is he. When he came out, he wasn't wasted away, but he had very little melanin within his pigmentation. He had very little melanocytes in his pigment. Therefore, they called his name Ishwa, Esau, because his pigmentation was wasted away. He looked like that. And that's possible to this day. For black parents to do that, to give birth, it's possible. Go ahead.
It says, verse 26, and after that came his brother out.
And his brother came out after that. But they didn't mention his brother color. You know why? Because nobody was red during that time upon the face of the earth. Everybody else was different shades of brown. Esau would be the first so-called white man to be born upon the earth. That's why it describes what color he was when he came out. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Jacob's hand took hold on Esau's heel when he was trying to pull Jacob back when Jacob was coming out. When Esau was coming out, Jacob was trying to pull him back. That's what Jacob means, Yahweh, which means heel. That's a planter. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob.
Yahweh, which means heel. It's a planter. His name was called Jacob. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 60 years old.
A score in the Bible was 20, so 3 is 60. Isaac was 60 years old. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Who liked to hunt? Who liked to hunt? Esau was what?
Esau was a cunning hunter.
I don't have to tell y'all who liked to hunt, do a whole lot of hunting today. Go ahead.
A man of the field.
I don't have to tell y'all who loved to kill and run and jump and do all this other stuff concerning the nation. Go ahead.
And Jacob was a plain man.
Jacob was a plain man because Jacob liked to sit in the house and chill all the time. That's all Jacob did, sat in the tent and chill. He was a plain man. Go ahead.
Dwelling in tents.
Dwelling in tents. Jacob was a mama boy, so to speak. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau.
Isaac loved Esau. That was their fault.
Because he did eat of his venison.
Because Esau knew how to cook that meat just like with that. And daddy loved his cooking. Go ahead.
Rebecca loved Jacob.
And Rebecca loved Jacob. Rebecca loved Jacob. And Isaac loved Esau. Go ahead.
Verse 29. And Jacob saw a cottage.
Jacob, now this is why when the Bible tells you, this is not my words, y'all. So I depart, y'all hate me or not, I really don't care. Because I understand on God's word. But I came here to try to open y'all eyes up. You're going to find out in the truth, you're going to create a lot of enemies, which I don't care. Everybody said that they rejected him. know they hating him, we're going to be hating. The Bible clearly tells you that there's no salvation for European people. There's no salvation for the so-called white man or European people. Even if they cry their last tear, there's no salvation for them. They're not teaching you that over here in America. They're not teaching you that in Christianity or any other spiritual denomination. They're not teaching you that. That's why he gave us this. He knew there was no salvation for him. So I got to get them to believe this. He knew that. Why? We're going to show you why there's no salvation. Go ahead.
It says, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison.
We're going to show you what Esau did that made God forever hate him. Go ahead, watch
It
this.
says, verse 29, and Jacob saw pottage, and Esau came from the field.
So Jacob was cooking some pottage, and Esau came from the field. Go ahead.
And he was faint.
And Esau was tired because he was all out that day hunting for animals, and he didn't get no catch that day. So he was tired. Go ahead.
Verse 30, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
So Jacob was cooking some red pottage, and Esau came to Jacob and said, look, man, I'm hungry. Feed me with that red pottage right there you cooking. Go ahead.
For I am faint.
I'm faint. I'm tired. Go ahead.
Therefore was his name called Edom.
You know why? Because the pottage Jacob was cooking, it wasn't done yet. It was raw. He was cooking lentils and red meat. So it was raw. So he said, feed me with that red pottage. Go ahead.
Verse 31, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Jacob asked Esau to sell him his birthright. That birthright came from Isaac, Abraham, Isaac down to him. Go ahead.
Verse 32, and Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
So that's how very little he valued the birthright that God had inherited from Abraham, Isaac, to him. He said, this don't mean me nothing. I'm about to die. Little did he know that birthright, the Messiah would come through that birthright and bless that owner. That birthright was your entitlement for the kingdom of heaven. With Esau, very little value, and he sold it. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. Go ahead.
Verse 34, then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
And that's why exactly there ain't no salvation for the so-called white man. It ain't no salvation because the birthright was given to Jacob. And when he gave the birthright to Jacob, that made Jacob the chosen. Jacob had 12 kids from 4 different women, which makes up the 12 tribes of Israel. And out of all those tribes, Christ came out of the tribe of Judah. And all the other Hebrew Israelites like King David and Solomon and everybody. The promise was given from Abraham, Isaac to Esau, but he sold it to Jacob. That's why they call him the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob now. So Esau despised his birthright. He should have never done that because that was his entitlement for the kingdom. So they don't have no salvation. And I wish I could, if you want to hear more about us, just come out every weekend. We be on the, like I said, that freeway by across the road from Diggity. Come out and listen to it because we wasn't able to give you the breakdown on all that stuff. So that's why we come out to tell y'all, man. You know, we kings and queens, and the Bible's our history book to show us how we took such a great fall and how we are and what we did not do as far as pleasing God. Now, I didn't bring out the things that we should do, like keeping the commandments. There's a lot of commandments we got to keep, but I'm not able to bring them out today. So if y'all have free time, y'all have time on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. We start up on the three-way across the road from primarily 12 o'clock across the road from City Tree on that little freeway over there by that little Hispanic club on the end. You'll see it on that little freeway. You start on every Saturday. We got that every Saturday. Any questions y'all got concerning the scriptures, anything that y'all confused on, we break it down. We have other brothers out there too. It ain't just me and my family. Other brothers come out. They weren't able to come tonight. But that's what we do. We teach the Bible. And the Bible is a black history book according to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. A lot of people haven't been told that today. So that's what I wanted to give to y'all today. I know I was all around. I was jumping all around because I know I'm on time. So I hope y'all kind of grab something. Y'all will edify. I hope y'all will share the knowledge. I hope y'all will call some notes. Got your phone, bring something down the card. But what I'm saying is the full truth and the whole truth. And I wouldn't lie to y'all. And if I'm lying to y'all, I tell God to charge it on my behalf. Because this is the natural truth that they ain't telling you in America. We learned from the elders of GOM's Great Millstone, which is in New York. So that's who we studied on the Great Millstone. We've been in the truth like five years now. You know, I wasn't always like this. I grew up in the church and doing all kind of crazy stuff too. But God was merciful to open my eyes on me and my wife and my family. So what I'm doing now, I'm using the blessing to open y'all eyes up. So that's all I had to say on tonight, on behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Right. You need to hear right here. Right. That's the twin. That's the twin. How you doing, man? How you going on, right? Thank you, man. How are you? All right. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
You know I know you down there.
Okay, nice to meet you, man. Hey, I appreciate you for allowing me to do this. Oh, I know, you know what I'm saying?
Look at this.
Right.